Yeah, I can be loud, so I mean, telling you that.
Pull that bass down, man. You got a
Perfect.
bassy voice, don't you?
Dude, I know. I
You
got one of them
low end.
rough ass voices.
Sound like you've seen
Like
a
I've
thing
been
or two.
through some shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
He knows a thing or two,
This
man.
is probably I'm probably the first person you ever had on here that threw a damn dip in before we started doing.
I'd say probably so, man. Yeah, you
Hey.
just threw one in, keep you relaxed.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
I ain't got no problem with it, man.
Heck
You just send
no.
it. I think you might be the second country guy I've had on. You're officially country, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Word. Well, let's knock into this thing. I didn't jump the gun here for a second. What's up, everybody? Let's knock into this podcast. Welcome back to the Jameson on the Rocks podcast. Today I have with me Mr. Bradley Logan Crosby. Is that how you say it?
Crosby.
The full three?
Crosby, yeah.
Crosby?
Full three Crosby.
Dude, I wrote Cosby. I'm not
Hey,
going to
that's
lie to
okay.
you.
That's
Not gonna lie
okay.
to you. Does that happen?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That happened when I was a kid. And
Yeah?
I was like, all right, whatever. So
What was the decision like of going with the full name?
I don't know.
Just
Okay,
natural?
this is what it was. I'll be honest with you. TikTok.
Uh-huh.
So that's like my biggest like social media.
Yeah.
And so
It's a smart move.
yeah, so when I started, people would like reach out and they're like Bradley Logan or Bradley, and I'm like, you know what?
Uh-huh.
Let's just keep it. And so it's funny too, when I came to college, you know, so my whole life I've gone by Logan.
Yeah, totally.
So I come to college, and everybody's like Bradley because that's like my legal first name.
Okay.
So my friends started calling me Bradley Logan,
Yeah.
just like my friends I met at college, and like
Yeah,
they
the
just didn't
homies.
know. Yeah, the homies, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? This isn't that bad.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just went with Bradley Logan Crosby. I mean,
It's got a nice ring to it. It's a little more what's the word I'm looking for? Like original kind of.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. Because there's
And
a
it's-
ton of Bradleys and Logans.
yeah,
you
I
know
mean, and so exactly. And so like, I mean, I guess too, like if you look at older country music, which I don't necessarily think like that's what I'm trying to do, but like John Michael Montgomery, you had like
Totally.
a lot of people that had like went with
the
all
three names thing.
you know. And it's funny because like my sister, her name is Ashley Kate, and like we call her Ashley Kate Crosby,
Yeah.
and so. You know, I always went by Logan, and now I'm like, all right, Mom and Dad, y'all just have to. It's all three. Sorry,
You got to get it?
yeah, I'm like, you just gonna have to deal with it. Sorry, Mom.
You don't even answer to just two now, do you?
Yeah, I'm well, I'll answer just about anything, but if my parents call me Bradley Logan Crosby, I'm like, oh shit, I'm in
We
trouble.
got
so
it?
if they ever start calling me that, I'm gonna be like, have to go back.
Well, word, man. Well, let's kind of get the origin story for you. The kind of like, when did you start playing? When did you start singing? When did your musical influences kind of come in? Let's just hit the whole. Let's take it back a few years,
Dude,
man.
take it back. When
Yeah.
I just turned 21, so let's
Word,
take it back.
man.
20 years. So I mean, I guess because you're from Gibson, right?
Yeah,
So
dude,
Glasscock
totally.
County.
Yeah.
So
You
I'm
you
from.
know Gibson?
Oh heck yeah.
Word, man.
Dude, I know
Damn.
more about the state of Georgia. I can get into that later. I know a lot about the state of Georgia.
We'll round around.
So yeah. So I guess growing up, you know, Milledgeville, which is a smaller, you know, it's got obviously college, but
Totally.
then both of my parents are from really small towns. So, you know, my grandmas were like, you're going to go to church and you're going to sing at church. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm 6. And they're like, well, you're going to do it. I was like, okay. So, I mean, I guess that. And then, you know, too, so my second cousin is Jason Aldean.
What?
So yeah, I know.
Word.
So you know, he's from Macon, and my mom's from Monticello. So you know, they were pretty close growing up. So I guess when I started getting like 5 and 6 is when he started. Like that's when he. I remember being 5 years old and going to his show. He had just gone on tour with Rascal Flatts.
Word.
And I'm like, it's like me and my grandma, who was like, I don't know, probably at the time like 62, and it's just me and my grandma, like a 5-year-old and a 62-year-old, and I know every single word. And so, honestly, like that's kind of where it started.
Okay.
You know, because I mean, I guess when you have somebody like that in your family,
Yeah.
you
Does
know.
that sink over kind of? Is it like, oh, you got to, you know, your family's talking
yeah.
about it. You're like,
I mean,
oh, that's
and,
cool.
Like his dad like played in and I guess my other two uncles, they all kind of had like this little family band. Like, I mean, just playing juke joints and stuff like that. So,
That's cool, man.
you know, and that's kind of where he got started.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, music was just always around me, you know,
crazy,
whenever
man.
you're growing up. And so, and then obviously once I started to get older, and have you ever played in Milledgeville?
I have not. I want to really
Yeah.
bad.
It is, dude. It is like
Yeah.
one of the best colleges.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I
really
tell
is.
people like when it comes to Georgia College is like a hidden gem
Yeah,
when it comes
it
to
really
I mean,
is. It
and
reminds
so,
me of Statesboro a little
yeah,
bit. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
I mean,
Hidden
and
gem kind
so
of vibe.
that, and then like you know, a lot of people are coming from Atlanta to go to school down there. People are calling it. Some people call it Little Athens. You know,
I can see that. I can see that.
I mean,
Yeah.
and so it's like there ain't like 4 bars
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
150 like there's in Athens, but you know, nonetheless,
That's good when you're playing that night.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And
Ah.
so, I'm like, I've never had a show in Milledgeville that wasn't packed out. I'm like, because they either go to this bar and they go to the other, you know. But
so you're from the Milledgeville area?
Yeah, from Milledgeville.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and so that's where my parents met in Milledgeville. That's where they went to college, and then they just stayed.
Nice.
And so I guess when I started to get like into late middle school, early high school, that's kind of, you had some of these bands that came through. And even when I was younger, I mean, that like Luke Combs came through there, Luke Bryan. I mean, and so that kind of, and I mean, even last year, Hardy played there.
Yeah, Capital City.
Capital City, Riley Green. And so
I've seen Riley Green at Capital City.
Yeah.
You're probably there, man. I've seen him there twice.
And so, when it comes to that was just kind of growing up. Everybody kind of would swing through Milledgeville. And then, but when I really got back started, I didn't really sing, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I was in 10th grade. This is going to sound so stupid, but this is where it started. So at my high school, juniors built the prom. There's junior senior prom, and then there were like 6 sophomores that were servers.
Okay.
And so the 6 sophomores would do like a skit.
Okay.
I know, it's getting crazy.
What?
Yeah, no, they would. And this prom was like a production. I mean, like it took like a week and a half to build. There were like 1,000 people there.
God.
Everybody's people are pulling up. They're renting cars. I mean, you got people pulling up. I took a G-Wagon to prom my junior year, so it was a production. So we were having to do this skit, and the juniors had chose to do Mardi Gras as like the prom thing. I was like, okay, whatever. So I'm skipping class because what the hell I did.
As you do.
And so I'm walking down the hall, and one of the teachers was like, that was doing the prom. She's like, we need somebody to sing. Like, we need like something. Like, so the skit was Princess and the Frog. And so I heard the teacher say that. I said, I can sing. She was like, no, you can't. I'm like, yeah, I can. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I've never heard you sing. And I was like, okay. And she was like, well, sing right now. I'm like, okay. So I don't know what I sang, but she was like, oh, it's good enough. So I sang. This is the stupidest thing ever. I can pull up a picture of it. I'm 16 years old, dressed in a sports coat, holding up. I was a thought bubble for the frog from Princess and the Frog. And I get up there and I just belt out House of the Rising Sun by the Animals in front of like
Classic.
1,000 people. And they're like, well, damn, you can sing. I was like, I told you,
Sing.
And so that kind of happened when I was in 10th grade. So 11th grade, from there on out, I sang the national anthem at like every ball game.
So are you like up to 10th grade though? Are you like practicing like playing guitar? Or are you just
I didn't learn to play guitar till I was a junior in high school.
Oh wow!
So my aunt,
the next year.
My aunt bought me lessons when I was in like 4th grade. And I went to one, and I was like, I got in the truck, and my daddy, my fingers hurt. I don't do this no more. So I didn't. I mean, I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't learn how to play an instrument.
That's surprising, man.
Yeah, until 11th grade. And I took a couple lessons with this guy, and then like, I don't know, maybe 4th or 5th lesson, he brings out like an electric guitar. He's like, you're going to learn how to shred. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
I'm good.
I just wanted to play acoustic and
a few chords, play the songs.
And so I just went back to the house and taught myself off, taught the rest kind of off YouTube and kind of picked up. I never like, I don't know how to read music, like anything. I know how I can just listen to a song once or twice and just roll with it. And so I kind of did that. And then 12th grade, I was in a youth band at the church I was in, and so like kind of did that. That's kind of how I started when it came to the music stuff.
And you're always singing, right? There's no era where you're like just playing guitar or anything.
Always singing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you kind of like just already knew that you wanted to do it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like maybe you had that key in there.
Oh yeah.
Just a little bit.
Oh yeah. I knew that like I just like to entertain people. Like, that's always been. I was the class clown. I was the one that got up in front. I did. I was in the damn school plays and stuff like that. I mean, I just have always liked to be in front of people and entertain people. So, and like I said, I sang a little bit, but the couple times I got together with friends or whatnot, they'd play the guitar and I'd sing, and I'm like, well, hell, I can learn how to do that.
Yeah,
and
campfire kind of
stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of how it started. That was the whole. And then when I got into my senior year of high school, I actually went to Kennesaw State my first year.
Okay,
I thought I wanted to do Christian music, and like the Atlanta area is such a hotbed for Christian music.
Totally.
With Passion, Johnson's Ferry, North Point.
Yeah,
so I wanted to and so I wanted to go up there, and of course, I get up there. So fall of 19 was my first semester, And I get up there, and you kind of have to. When it comes to churches and stuff like that, they always have this process of how you get on the stage, and so which is fine. But of course, when I was getting ready to do it, COVID came along, and so it just shut everything down.
Word. Okay. Okay, that timeline's right. Was it like a culture shock going up to Kennesaw though? Because it's a little different than Milledgeville.
It
obviously.
is.
Yeah.
I had a couple friends. The guys that were my roommates were from Valdosta.
Okay.
And then there was one from Woodstock. So, I mean, he was right down the road. But, I mean, it kind of was, it was a huge commuter school.
Yeah. What does that mean?
So,
what do you mean by that?
I mean, there was, I think it's like the second or third largest university in the state. I mean, it was like 35,000 students. Whew. But I think there were enough beds on campus for like 2,500. So there were tons of kids that they lived in like Canton, Woodstock, Cartersville. They'd come to class, go home. So weekends there was like 8 of us there. Every weekend I was like, I'm going home, I'm going here. Yeah. So, but a lot of those kids that were from North Georgia mountain area, I had a friend that was from Rockmart, Georgia. Exactly. And so they're out from the middle of nowhere. I'm like, I'm from Milledgeville. I'm like, I'm kind of country. And they're like, well, my daddy's got a pond. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be friends with you. So, I mean,
you sound cool.
It was definitely different. I think going to college, because I went to a small private school.
Yeah, okay.
And so, I mean, I graduated.
What school did you go to?
John Milledge Academy.
John Milledge. I've definitely heard of that. I don't know it very well, though.
So, we've produced 2 NFL football players.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I know. JT Wall and then Harrison Bryant, who plays for the Cleveland Browns right now.
Whoa, okay. Don't you guys play like Thomas Jefferson and those kind of teams?
We used to, but I think Thomas Jefferson's down to like 8-man football. So, but our football team's good. I think they've won the state championship like 3 years in a row.
Damn, go
last
crazy.
6 years they've played in the state championship. So they're good. I mean, I didn't play football. I played football my freshman year.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna go play soccer.
Yeah.
So I played club soccer and I loved it, but.
Sounds like you're doing a lot, man.
Dude, I was the most active kid. I was like, it's funny. So I graduated with 42 people, which that ain't a lot of people.
I got you beat by about 10, man.
Really?
We're 53, I think. Let's go, bro. Let's go.
And so if you took the top 20 and put them on this side and the bottom 20 put them on that side, I was right in the middle. I was like the most average student, but I was a school mascot. I played, in the church band. I played club soccer. I ran cross country. I mean, I did everything.
Okay.
But I mean,
go-getter type guy.
I did not do school though. I just did enough to get by. I was like low A's, high B, and I was
relatable.
Like, perfect. I don't care. And now that's transitioned to college, and I'm like high C, low B, and I'm like, this is great.
This will do.
I don't care.
He's good degrees, man. So what makes you want to go to, like, you say Kennesaw State for like Christian music per se? What made you kind of think that was your thing instead of like, this school's like, I don't know, ABAC or Southern that could have been a little more country per se, or Valdosta State. I don't know if that's his country, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know why, I really wanted to do Christian music. I think it was, growing up in church, obviously, but I was like the tight, black skinny jeans, sneakers, T-shirt that if you move wrong, you rip it. And I don't know why I wanted to do that, but I mean, I just did. I still listen to Christian music. I like Christian music. And I used to write Christian music. I mean, so I probably have written more Christian songs than I have country songs.
Really?
To be honest with you, I mean, so I don't know why. I mean,
is
it was
just a culture thing, maybe?
I
growing
guess
up that way.
I think it was. My parents. I mean, I was in church every Wednesday, every Sunday. If we had revival, my dad
Committed.
was a deacon. My mom was on the hospitality committee. So we every single time the church doors were open, it was like, you're gonna be in church. I was like, all right, sounds good. So that's just kind of how it was. My parents were the parents that were like, oh, you have a club soccer game on Sunday? Well, you're not going to play. You're going to go to church. And I'm like, Mom, hold on here.
Right.
And so but that's just kind of how, we grew up. And I think there are lots of kids, that were kind of like that growing up in a southern, town. So
I think church makes some great musicians, man. Some of them church drummers and guitar players, they can play anything because they've had to learn new songs every Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean,
you're getting on Tuesday your assignment for songs. Yeah. It's like, here's 5 songs you've never heard of. Learn them by Saturday night.
Tomorrow,
like, all right, sounds good.
And when does it kind of click for you that it's like, oh, maybe I don't necessarily want to do Christian music. Maybe I want to do country and play bars and kind of chase that down?
Yeah, so I didn't. I think it was when I moved to Athens, honestly. I mean, it was like.
Which is in what, 2020?
2020, fall of 2020.
Sweet. Transferred into Georgia, correct?
Transferred into Georgia, yeah. And so transferred in the summer of 2020 and took music was my first class I took.
Nice.
And so I think it's when I got here, and kind of saw the bar scene. Mm-hmm. And I think too, I guess kind of in my blood, like watching Jason and watching, him be on tour. I'm like, yeah, that's fun. Like, I enjoyed that. So, I enjoyed Christian music, but I just really was, when I got here, I was like, yeah, I want to do the bar scene.
Totally.
So that's kind of when it clicked that I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good answer. And the thing is about it, though, it seems like, I guess, obviously a little underrepresented in town. So, like, are you going to see anybody while you're here that's like, oh, that guy's kind of doing what I want to do? Like, I don't know, is it Jordan Rowe that's from here, or is it Dylan Marlowe? One of those guys from Athens were here a few years ago.
Dylan's from Statesboro,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where Jordan's from.
I feel
that's
like
a Jake. That is a Jake Kenny question. Jake Kenny is one of my favorite people in the world. If I text him right now, he texts me back in like 2 minutes. Be like,
he gave you a glowing review in the group me. I don't know if you saw that. Did you?
I did not.
He was like, let me read you what he said. He was like, Bradley just playing at Clark's. This kid's gonna be big one day. Y'all come see him or something like that. I love him. Gotta love that guy.
He came by. He's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "What's up, dude?" He found me on TikTok. We'll get to the TikTok stuff in a few minutes.
He said Bradley Crosby is legit at Clark's. This guy's gonna be a big one day.
Love you.
Look at that guy, man. I gave him a like.
Dude, he's my man. I love him.
And that's how you kind of discovered the show, right? Is Jake?
Like
you saw Jake's episode, Kenny?
Well, so your show, the first one I listened to, first podcast was the how to like book your own tour.
You listened to that, man?
I listened to that because I was sitting there and I'm like, because I've that's how I've had to do, and I've had to be on, and like you said, like being persistent is like
totally.
There's people I'm like, I've called this bar 8 times. I'm like, book me.
Come on now.
Like, who else are you gonna book, Bubba? And so, but that was the first one I listened to, and then Granville's episode, Jake's Florida Man. I listened to J Rod's today.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you called. It's been a month. I don't know if we said that at the start, but it's probably been a month since I've been trying to get you in here, and just like we had scheduling issue after scheduling issue, but I'm glad we finally lined it up. So you're kind of, let me loop back around on this. You come to UGA. It's not really necessarily a country town, but obviously country is super welcomed here. It does great at the warehouse and stuff like that. And what makes you go, all right, country? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to play Clark's. I'm going to play where I can. I'm going to book frat parties, sorority stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? What kind of gets you there?
Well, so I guess the first country show I saw was Cameron Marlowe, not related to Dylan Marlowe, but he was at Warehouse. And, that's kind of thing, like Warehouse, Georgia Theater. That's where you have to go, if you're going to do country music. But, the reason that I was like, okay, I was, like, not done with music, but so I guess it was this time last year, I was working, trying to get, my degree and everything. And I'm like, I'm just going to go do, I was going to work in government. I wanted to do politics, lobbying. Like, that was kind of what I wanted to do. So I posted a TikTok in May of 2021 and it got 2.5 million views. It was a stupid TikTok. It was like it was this girl and she's like, did you even go to college if you didn't get chlamydia at least twice? And so I posted a reaction to it. And I was like, well, I must be boring as hell. And it gets 2.5 million views. Well, some girl comments on it. She's like, well, you sing Lady May. Because I probably put like 2
singing videos
on TikTok. So she had went back and stalked me or something and found them. And I was like, well, yeah, okay. So like I posted that and like that got like 11,000 views. Which, for me, for someone that had like 1,000 followers on TikTok. And so that just kept going. It was like every day in the summer I would post, like people would request a song and I'd post it. And by, I don't know, August, I had 25,000 followers on TikTok. Which,
brother, I didn't even know that.
3,000 followers on TikTok, and people are like DMing me and they're like, well, you come to this college town or you try to book this bar. I had people like, hey, my Meemaw's having a party at her barn. Will you come play? And I'm like,
yeah.
Well, yeah. And so, so I started doing that kind of stuff, and I'm like, well, hell, I got to go buy, some speakers and, whatnot. And so that's kind of where, I honestly, like, that's how it started, May of 21. And then by the end of the summer, it was like, I had some shows booked and people were like, we want you to come play. And I was like, all right, shoot, let's do it. And so, and it's been, so much fun. And I never would have thought that I would have done, the music stuff. But I'm like, you know what? Why not just try it and let's see where it goes.
Love that, man. So you kind of just fell into it with the TikTok thing.
Literally, I tell people all the time, it was like the train was leaving the station. It's like, you better get your ass on. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's get on. Let's ride it till the wheels fall off and see where it goes. And so that's honestly, like I said, I had no, I had done the internships in state government. I'm like, I'm going to do, like, I'm just going to do, I wanted to be a lobbyist. I'm just going to go be a lobbyist. And,
that's a big dream too, man.
And I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, because I don't know any broke lobbyists. I was like, so let's just go be a lobbyist. And then people are like, well, how about you just try to sing country music? And I'm like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I was like, because, hopefully at least, government will always be there. If not, that's going to be a different issue. But we can always go back and try that, So it's like, why not just go see, and I'm going to be honest with you, if you'd have told me this time last year, hey, in a year you're going to have almost 50,000 followers on TikTok. You're going to have, you're going to have played Georgia Theater. You're going to play, some of these shows. I'd have been like, no, shut up.
Yeah, I'd be like, bull.
And it's like, you're going to be posting your own original music. I'm be like, no, shut the hell up. And then now it's like, it's here. And I'm like, well, let's just do it. Honestly, that's kind of how it's been. It's like, let's just go try it.
That's hype, man. That's a really good way to put it. And like you say, man, you can do this shit for 5 years and get tired of it.
Right.
You can always go back.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? But at least you're giving it a run. Tell me a little bit about some of these shows. Well, actually, I'm not done with this TikTok thing because that's pretty dope. How many followers do you have on TikTok? 50,000, something like that?
It's like about to hit 50. Let's see.
That's crazy, man. And there's people out there that are like, man, fuck this. I'm not getting on TikTok. But people like you are straight up getting gigs from it.
46,500.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
That's a fucking following, dude, man. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny because, I think this is hilarious. So, when I go out in Athens, or hell, when I just go places, go to class. Hell, I was in Kroger getting Diet Coke and potato chips, and this girl's like, I've seen you on my phone. I'm like, okay, I don't know. Like, she was like, I think it's from TikTok. Do you sing? I was like, yeah. She was like, you're so good. And I was like, I'm in the chip aisle at Kroger. I was like, thank you, ma'am. Yeah. But that's always been the funny thing, because I'll walk around campus and people are like, can we take a picture with you? And
dude,
like,
that's crazy.
Well, I'm trying to get to my damn speech composition class.
30 minutes late.
Yeah, exactly. But I was eating in a Mexican restaurant, and I was with my friend, and this girl comes up to me. She's like, can I take a picture with you and send it to my mom? I'm like, I'm halfway into this damn burrito, but if your mom don't care, I got rice coming down the side of my mouth, then go ahead. And and then my waiter's like, I've been wanting to ask you this, but I didn't want to say anything. But that girl, took a picture. Are you on TikTok? I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, cool. I'll give you that Corona Light for free. And I'm like, thank you, Bubba.
Perks of the job.
So I was like, thank you.
And how has that been though? Like catering to that, 40,000 people. Like, have you been like posting every day? Are you like hooked on it? Are you like loose? Or
so, it's one of those things. It's like I get busy with school and whatnot, and so I try to post like every other day. It depends, because sometimes I'll post, lots of times like singing, covers or people request stuff, or on Fridays I try to put out, like an original song I've written, just to kind of see like, do people like this? What do people think? But sometimes I'll just post. Like I said, I just like I like to talk. I posted. Listen to this shit. It was like right before Christmas. I posted a TikTok of me reading the night before Christmas.
Really?
They got like 110,000 views.
What
people
the fuck, man?
People were like, we love that. And I was like, I never would have thought I'd have been reading.
Yeah. The fucking
the
story.
night before Christmas, and 110,000 people would, love it. But
that's
like,
crazy reach,
here we are.
Literally.
What I mean? It's funny because like, I'll have obviously a lot of people, are like country music fans, but then there's just like students are like, we don't listen to country music, but we listen to you.
Really?
So, but when it comes like you ask them to go like catering, I post as much as I can, but at the same time, I think a lot of the people that follow me like are college kids.
Gotcha.
So they get to see like, okay, we're busy, he's busy. So I don't think I've never felt pressure to be like, okay, I've got to post something by like 1:30 today. Like,
gotcha.
I just never.
So it hasn't turned into like a sort of not job per se, but it's like, oh, I got to keep my phone going, got to keep it going. Because I'd wondered about that.
Yeah, no, I never have. I'm sure there's people that do, but I try to interact with people, like their comments or respond back. I always do something that's called, my hour of power, like before I go to bed, because like I don't like to be on my phone too much before I go to bed. But usually from like 9:30 to 10:30, I'll like respond to DMs, respond to messages,
Go live? You ever go live?
Yeah, I go live sometimes.
I can see you being good at that.
Yeah, I go live. I like going live. You know, I went live like with the company one time. I wrote a jingle for them, and I went live with them. You know, but I like, you know, that 1 hour. I like to respond or look at comments or whatnot, and just kind of see, you know, kind of how everything's going. But like I said, I've never felt like, okay, I've got to like do this. Yeah,
I think that's smart, man. And you have booked a bunch of shows through TikTok.
I've had lots of people, and it's funny because it's like a lot of the stuff I booked off of TikTok has been people that are like, "Hey, will you come play at our, you know,
private kind of thing?
Like our house party? Can you come play at our, you know, New Year's Eve party, Christmas party?" You know, and I'm like, yeah, you know, because a lot of these people, it's funny because a couple of them that have reached out, like I've actually like known, like been mutual friends, you know, but yeah, I've booked, and then of course like, if I call a bar or a venue, you know, they're like, "What kind of following do you have?" And I'm like, "Well, I have 45,000 people that follow me on TikTok." And you know, then it's funny because like people will show up to the show and they're like, "Oh, we know you from TikTok." You know, people that weren't even like going to necessarily come to the show, they're just at the bar. So you know, but no, that's been my biggest. If the TikTok stuff wouldn't have went where it's gone, I probably wouldn't have done.
Really? Okay. And that's it. That's so interesting, man. Because you don't. I mean, I think it's pretty rare for like the TikTok to pop off before the Instagram, or you know what I mean? Like just for that to go so crazy, you know. And I love to see it, dude. And I love to see you getting gigs from it. And where you listed a few shows earlier. Where all have you played, like bar and venue wise?
In Athens or just
in general?
So let's see, Velvet Elvis down in Milledgeville. I've played there. Buffington's, that's cool because it's like a you know, they do late night stuff, but I usually do like dinner stuff. And, you know, people. That's like my grandma will come to that. My grandma ain't coming to a bar at 1 o'clock in the morning, and she don't need to. And so you know that I played a place. It's funny. I played. So I went to Florida, Georgia. And so we always stay on Amelia Island for that. And so I played. There was a restaurant down there.
I love Amelia Island. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love Amelia Island. It's one of my favorite places in the world. Let's see, like a bunch of house parties, a sorority gig that was like they were doing like a fundraiser, and I was just in the background.
Philanthropy kind of thing.
So, but a lot of my stuff has just been like these private. Parties. And the thing about it, you know, when it comes like money in the industry, like that's where lots of money is, because they're like, you know, because you go to some bars and like, we're only going to pay you this much money, which is fine, you know, because they have to operate. But, you know, if I'm playing your house party, I'm be like, okay, well, I'm going to charge you this, and it's either yes or no, you know.
Totally.
So, but the hardest thing about it is like with school going on, you know, and it's hard because obviously Athens, like you said, isn't necessarily a country music town. I've played places here, but you know, I'm actually going to play at Jen's here soon. We're trying to figure out a date. That's like that's the prime place.
That seems like the spot for that.
That's
right?
it. Yeah, because every time I go to Jen's, that's like my bar.
Yeah, your spot.
And so every time I go, last time I went, I was probably 2 weekends ago. I went with one of my buddies, and he stood there and counted. He's like, 26 people came up to you tonight and knew you. And I was like, and all 26 asked when I was going to, you know, play at Jen's. And so, you know, but that's one of those I've had to be persistent, because I probably started asking them back in July. Can I come play? You
just sticking with it.
Yeah, they're like, we don't do live music. And every time I've gone in there, I have these business cards. I have like my face on it, like like, this is my Instagram, TikTok. Check everything out. This is my cell phone number. Every time I go, I'm like, I give them to the bartender, and they probably have 50 in my damn car. So finally, they called me back, and they're like, "Yeah, we checked you out. We want you to come play. You're good. Like, we think it'd be a good thing for you to do." And I'm like,
why are they not already doing that? You know what I mean? Like singer songwriter acoustic thing would be perfect for that place.
When I talked to the GM, he was talking about how they did it a lot before COVID, but then after COVID. But I think they're in the process of like redoing their sound system in there, and so he's like. Because, the one thing like about some of these bars and restaurants is, you play them, like Buffington's, for example, they have all their, like you show up with a guitar, plug in, and they have their system, set up throughout the restaurant. And then, but like some bars don't, but I mean, I think Jen's they're trying to get back into doing the live music stuff.
So like we just
want, I mean, I really think they would. I mean, because even though Athens isn't a country music town, you have lots of kids that do, that they are here, they are writing, they are like singing. And so I feel like if they, and apparently they are starting to back up, I think it'll be big. And it'll help the artists. And I know Moonshine. Speaking of J-Rod,
the
goat, Moonshine used to do country music Thursdays.
I remember that because they have a little stage in there, right? Yeah.
And so they used to do that, and then they stopped. I don't know why they stopped, but there was a 2 or 3 people that came through there and like played, like Athens based guys, like James Mason.
Yeah, I know
was
James.
James
is a nice guy.
And so I remember seeing him there probably a year and a half ago, like during the middle of the pandemic in like 2020. And so, but I mean, I don't know why they quit doing country music, but I mean, they did that on Thursdays.
Well, at least it's hopefully coming back through Gens. I feel like anybody that's in Gens is kind of going to dig what you're playing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and so that's what I've always said. I'm like, hell, and so, and it's funny because like I'll sit there at the bar and I'll like listen to what they're playing, and I'm like, I know that song, I know that song, I can do that song, I cover that one, I'm like, that's that one, so, and then I mean, people come up to me, they're like, whenever you play here, play that song, and I'm like, okay, let me get a date first, and I'll put it on my set list. But I mean,
it just seems so surprisingly underrepresented here, and that's not like a knock on it. You know what I mean? It's like, why isn't there more of it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why don't we go downtown to Boar's Head and see like a kick-ass like 90s, 2000s country cover band playing like all the fucking bangers?
I know. I mean, and
surprising.
It's one of those things too. Like with the, there's obviously frat bands and jam bands and stuff. Which I mean, I love listening to that. Like Granville, like I text like Kenny. I'm like, what's like fraternity or sorority they playing at? But and that's the thing too. Like a lot of fraternities and sororities, I don't think they do a whole lot of country music. So I went to a formal with Tri-Delt this weekend, and they had a country music band there. I mean, and it was like, that was the first time though. It was like a country.
Who
music.
was it? Do you know?
Oh shoot, I have to look it up.
I got some friends that are Tri-Delts. They were trying to get us to come play, but I guess they ended up getting the country guys.
Dude, I love some Tri-Delts. I have. I know it sounds crazy. Shout out to the whole damn sorority, but I have Tri-Delt cufflinks. Like,
no, you
my
don't.
I got them. They're like, you're probably the only person in the world. I was like, oh no, I know I am. I was like, because I had to call like 6 different people, that make custom cufflinks. I'm like, if I send you just like 3 Greek letters, can you print them on this dude out in Texas? This dude out in North Texas finally was like, hell yeah, I'll do it. Just send it to me in an email. And I was like, all right, so I'm walking around with my Tri-Delt cufflinks.
Yeah. How was the country band this weekend, though?
They were good.
Were they?
I have to look up. I'll have to text them and see what the name was. But I mean,
see, I feel like that's a slot that can be filled in at. It's like I guess some people call Granville country, but I don't really think of them as country. Do you? I feel like they're a little more southern rock, maybe. Yeah,
definitely southern rock.
Yeah, I love those guys.
Oh my god! I mean, hell, I grew up. My dad's damn ringtone was "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner, so I was a southern rock junkie. And so my dad is still, so. But no, Granville, I don't know if they're like mainstream countryness, but I mean, I guess mainstream country has changed.
It varies.
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you've done all kind of solo things at this point? Is there any like ambition to like build a band around you that can do that?
Yeah, we're trying. Like that's kind of what I'm in the process of doing. But it's so weird because like I graduate in May, and so I'm like, I got a guy that I used to play with all the time when I did the church stuff. That he was a great drummer. His last name's Kenny. No relation to Jake, I don't believe. But he's a great drummer. But he lives in Statesboro, and so I'm like, come on now, But I mean, there's like I said, I'm sure if I put in a lot of effort, I could find people in Athens, but it's just like I said, with school and trying to finish, and then once I graduate in May, I'm like, well, I don't know where the hell I'll even be living, in 6 months. So I don't want to put something together and then it just immediately fall apart.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and you're kind of killing it with the solo things. If you're getting if you're getting mainly private gigs, like you're saying, right? Yeah, and you don't have to split any money with anybody.
Yeah, it's that nice. You don't have to split money. It's easy because you just practice on your. You don't have to, hey, we have to practice this, and this, and so but. And a lot of people, and that's honestly the reason I started, that's why I wanted to learn guitar. Because I'm like, if I just take my voice and a guitar, and you give me a bar stool and a beer, I feel like I can entertain you for an hour or two. Yeah. And so, but every show, I've played shows with a couple hundred people, and it's just been me and a guitar, and people are like, oh shit, and
Let's
so
go.
It's like, I mean, obviously I want a band, but I'm like, at the time being, if I don't necessarily have to throw one together.
Yeah, it's one of those things for like country music where it's not like a rock. Like rock, you have to have it. That's like the step that you have to have. Country is like you can go to Nashville and do the writers' rounds and like work your way up to the band life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. And like that's all. Like I've talked to Jason about, and funny, my manager is Jason's dad, who managed him.
Jason Aldean.
Yeah.
Okay.
So his dad managed him for a while, but that's back when Jason was like, he had a band called the Young Guns.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's way back,
dude. That's like 90s. And so
that's like button down shirt. Yeah,
that was like that was the pressed blue jeans and damn things were starched so damn much that you couldn't move in them.
Playing honky tonks.
Exactly. And so but his dad was a manager, and then. this is funny. My roommate's dad he's actually a voting member of the Grammys. He does a lot of jazz, like he does jazz stuff, but he plays in a bunch of bands. And he's like, if you ever need like professional, like somebody, just if you send them a set list on a Monday, have a show on a Saturday night, like they'll learn every song. So, and I feel like that's kind of how country music is, because there is a simplicity to it, you know, at times, and so. When it comes to stuff like that, I feel like if you needed if I needed something, you know, you could. But
do it. That
was the whole point of me learning, was like, I did it for, you know, years, just had a guitar and just would, you know, campfire stuff, or like we have you know, everybody's out at the barn, you know.
And that's when you're really exposed, you know what I mean? Like a band, you can hide a lot behind a band, believe me, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of got your formation down, right? Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's kind of how it's been. It's, you know, and people like it too, you know, on the front end, because they're like, we like listening to you sing, like your voice, you know, what you write, you know, and how you play the guitar. And then obviously, like you said, you can hide a lot behind a band. You need a band to fill, you know, an arena or something like that. But if you're just playing, you know, dinner hour, I feel like you don't necessarily need a band out there, you know.
I'd agree, man. That's awesome, dude. And what kind of stuff are you playing right now? Is there like a certain like year span that you're working on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you focus on 2000s or 90s, or is it just everything?
I mean, honestly, like my set list goes from like Darius Rucker to Brooks and Dunn to Waylon Jennings, that shit back to David Allen Coe, and
way
then,
back.
Yeah, and then I'm like, let's put some Luke Bryan in here, Jason Aldean, you know, and so kind of all over the place, honestly. I mean, but it's stuff that people, you know. It's stuff that people,
it's no like B-side kind of stuff, right? Word.
And so that's kind of, you know, and that's the thing, like once you kind of get that set list going and you see like, okay, people like this stuff and they know this, you know, it's kind of,
this works, this doesn't.
Exactly. Because like there's some songs I played and I'm like, I do a verse and a chorus, and I'm like halfway through the second verse, and we're gonna cut the shit off. Like, and that's the other thing about being solo is, you know, if something ain't going right, you know, you can, hey, I'm just gonna shorten this song.
You can hit that last chord,
right?
You know
and then
I'm
just like, done, cool. We're just gonna do half of this song. Sorry, y'all.
I can't tell you how jealous I am of that, man. Sometimes we start some, and I'm like, fuck, I wish this one was over already.
Yeah, right.
Some of them just miss sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny though, because like there's times that like I'll play, you know, let's see, I'm trying to think of one. What's that song? I don't know why I can't. Johnny Cougar. God no. I mean,
John Cougar Mellencamp?
I could sing the song right now. I just can't remember the name of it.
Pink Houses.
Pink Houses.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Pink Houses.
Yeah, exactly. So I played Pink Houses at Clark's.
Really?
And everybody knew it. And then like I'd go to Milledgeville the next weekend, and I like get through. I'm like, you know, I don't know, two lines in, and people are like looking at each other like, what is
it's
this?
So weird, isn't it?
It's like, it's so funny, because I mean, you know, some people know it, some people don't, and it's weird because like some nights the set list like hits, like everybody's screaming, you know, every single, you know, song, and then, you know, I go play a different bar in a different town, and people
same
are like,
set list.
Yeah, just about same set list. People are like, what's he playing? And I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, it's Neon Moon. Like, everybody knows it. It's Brooks and Dunn, baby. Come on.
That's how I felt this weekend, man. We kind of had it was a great crowd in Charleston, but like we usually play like, do you know the song "This Love" by Maroon 5?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you know it. And I'm like, oh, this song fucking crushes when there's a bunch of chicks. There's just chicks everywhere. I'm like, all right, we got this. We play it, and like nobody was digging. I was like, what the fuck, man? This crushes everywhere.
Well, that's the other cool thing about being, you know, solo is like, if the crowd, you know, I know that this is, I don't know, you know, if this is because I'm not even that, you know, much into the damn music world, but I just do this because trying to be a good entertainer is like,
I feel like you are. Like, when I can just tell you got it.
Yeah, when I was at Clark's, I mean, like I get halfway through the set list, and I'm like, some of these people know these, some of these people don't. So I just like, you know, I'm like, you know, screw the set list, and I just started playing songs, and people start vibing to it, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I just go completely off the set list.
Totally.
When you have a band and you practice the same set list, you know, 3 times, you're just like, you can't really, So I mean, you know, and it's funny because like I'm out here playing like Better Man by Taylor Swift, and all these girls are screaming it. You know, I'm like, it ain't on the set list, but I'm gonna act like it is. You know.
And is that a thing? Like, have you tried to take as many requests as you can, or no?
Yeah, I try to. You know, and it's funny because like I'll ask friends. I'm like, what do you think should be on my set list this week? Or, you know, people are like DM me and like, you should play this song, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm like, I play it a couple times, and I'm like, you know, and a lot of the stuff I put on TikTok. You know, because I kind of use that as like my filter. Like if I put a song on TikTok and people love it, I'm like, well, let's just put it in the set list. Yeah, I mean, and so that's kind of how I guess I use TikTok as my little guinea pig sometimes.
Yeah, that's smart,
but,
man.
Yeah,
that's smart, bro. That's awesome, dude. And like, so you're playing these places, you're playing these songs, and like, is there a what's the end game for you? I guess like, is there like, oh, I'm moving to Nashville and build my band one day? Is it, oh, I'm gonna start putting out originals, build a band here, or is it pretty vague?
I mean, I want to do the Nashville stuff. I mean, just because I feel like that's where it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it seems kind of obvious, right?
Yeah, I mean, and so it's like, but see, I'm writing a bunch of stuff, and it's funny because like, I've got a good many originals, and I've started putting them out. Like,
how many do you think you have?
Oh God, probably that are done and that are good, and that I would put on a record now would probably like 20.
Woo! Damn,
and so
bro.
it's like, yeah, I've probably got 75 to 100 that I've started, and I just haven't finished it. But I mean, the funny thing with me is like, I'll go. Those 20, I probably wrote within like a 3-month span, and then like I'll go like 3 months. Like, I mean, there's been days that I've just gotten up and I've wrote like 4 songs in a day, and then there's I'll go a month without having. And my stuff, I'll just be riding down the damn road, and I'll just be like beating on my console, and I'm like, oh, that's a song. Hold on, and I'll pull my phone out and just record myself humming a damn melody, and then get home and do it. And so. That's kind of how I write. I mean, obviously everybody's different, but I feel like if you put me in a room and you're like, hey, you have to write a song about, cigarettes and broken hearts, I'll be like, well, I don't know what.
That'd be tough, right?
Yeah, and so, but it was funny. So a couple of my friends actually got mad at me this weekend at Clark's because I didn't play any of my originals. Because
really?
Like, you need to play some of your originals because they're good. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't think they are, but if y'all do, let's just see.
Come on.
But there's one I wrote. It's called "Drunk Cigs Don't Count," and I'm staying. So I was in Statesboro at Blue Room. I just went
love
to
Blue Room, bro.
A Phi Mu formal. And I go up to the bar and I'm like, I'm gonna Michelob and lime, and this girl walks up to me and she's like, "Do you have a lighter?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, why did you just ask me for that?" And I said, "No, I don't smoke cigarettes." And she was like, "Well, honey, I don't smoke cigarettes either, but drunk cigs don't count." And I looked at the bartender. I'm like, "I need a pen. I need a napkin." And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Give me the pen and napkin." And
yes.
I walk into I go to the bathroom and lock myself in the first stall on the right at Blue Room, and I would like come out with a damn chorus of "Drunk Cigs Don't Count."
Well,
and then I got home the next
man.
day and I like finished it, and that's what I mean. People, I put that on TikTok, and I mean, all my friends are like, that is a good song. Like, we want you to play that.
Well,
song.
you're a songwriter then, man.
I mean, I love it. I love writing songs. That was the only thing that I have ever been good at in school was like English. Like I could write a paper.
Yeah, here's your sign, man.
Mm-hmm.
And have you thought about getting any of those cut? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you're not super interested in the publishing deal kind of thing. So, like, have you thought about, like, hey, you getting in a studio in Athens, put together some musicians and doing it?
I mean, that absolutely. That's kind of the thing man. Is, as soon as we get done with school and, because that just, well, I mean, even though I'm not a good student, that just lays your ass down.
Totally.
But no, I mean, I'm 100% going to do stuff. And I got one called Spring Break. I put that out on TikTok, and people are like, you need to cut that before. Like this spring break, and I'm like, okay, well, it takes a little more than like 2 days to do it, but no, I'm 100% gonna put some stuff out. But I mean, with doing that, obviously, and this because I've listened to your stuff, and being vulnerable as an artist, it's like, I put stuff out, and people are like, no, so I put one out probably 3 weeks ago, and it was called "If Jesus Was a Cowboy." Basically, it talks about so. The hook's like if Jesus was a cowboy, he'd have done it too, because it's talking about how this guy's fallen in love with this girl, and she, leaves, and he just can't get over it. And then, but the song's about how, hell, if Jesus was in the same position as me, he'd be in the, it's kind of,
well, that's like the country song thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like a good hook like that. Like,
and so it's like it is. I mean, that's one of those songs that I'm like, if I ever put that out, it would be like bare minimal. It would just be like me, a guitar, and maybe one or two other things. I mean, just because it just doesn't. It's just one of those songs that doesn't need a whole lot going on. But my dad put that on his Facebook, and one of the ladies that goes to church with my parents was like, "No, absolutely not. Jesus wouldn't drink whiskey." And I'm I was like, well, he drank wine, but anyways. But I mean, it's stuff like that, putting stuff out there. Obviously people are gonna like it. People, because everybody else, like Jake Kenny, like called me. He's like, you need to get this shit on. Like this shit's good. He's like, this is a good song. I was like, well, the lady that goes to church with my dad doesn't think so, but I don't.
She doesn't know it's hypothetical. You know what I mean?
I'm like, it's not real. I was like, but anyways, but no, I've got some stuff, and but no, writing stuff, and putting it out. Like I said, I like to do it just because I'm like, hell, let's just see where it goes. But I mean, there's people. I didn't post one this last Friday. Like I didn't put. I usually it's like 1:15, 1:30 on a Friday. I'll put out an original, and it's usually like a verse and chorus. And I mean, I had people DMing me on Instagram like, "You didn't put anything out today."
Really, bro? That's crazy.
I'm like, I know I'm busy. They're like, "Well, it's like we need you to put something out."
It's Friday, man. Where the fuck is it?
I was like, "Thanks, manager." But
that's crazy, dude. Well, I think you got something special there, man. I mean, what if you put it out and it gets fucking 500,000 streams? It's like, hey, maybe I can do this for a living.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the thing is, just let's put it out and let's see, what's going to happen. But, I don't know. But, like, I mean, with TikTok and with being out there and having, I mean, I guess 47,000 people like, watching what you do, There's people that don't like some of the stuff I put out. And I don't really
That's just such a huge amount of people that it's not possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's people that don't like, other video. Like, I put a video. Okay, let's just shit. So I put a TikTok up on Saturday. It was a joke. So I had to play in somebody's wedding.
Okay.
So I was like, I looked like, your average country music singer from the 90s. I had on the cowboy cut jeans, the pressed shirt, collared shirt, and a sports coat. And so as a joke, I was like, do I look like George Strait? Well, people are like, hell no. Like these random people, this lady. And then this one lady comments, she's like, hell no, you don't look like George Strait. Your jeans aren't long enough. They don't have 2 breaks in them. I'm like, lady, what are you talking about? I know. I was like,
That's that engagement, though, man. Yeah, they didn't know they were gassing your page up, bro.
So I commented back as a joke. I'm like, well, they're 31-36. And she was like, well, you need to get, 31-38, honey. And I was like,
2 inch.
I was like, okay, I'm like this upset me. I'm like, that doesn't upset me, man. But I don't know. But I mean, stuff like that, because I've put stuff out, just as jokes, and people are like, yeah, absolutely, But I mean, when you put your stuff out there, and when you got, I've had a couple of my videos that have gotten 2 to 3 million views. I mean, that's crazy, a lot of people seeing you, and obviously not everybody's gonna like what you're doing, but I'm like, I don't really care to an extent.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't care if you think I need to have my length on my jeans be 38. That doesn't what upsets me is when I go to the damn Circle K and I walk up to the fountain drink machine and there's a sheet of paper that says out over the Diet Coke. That's what pisses me off. That's what puts me in a bad mood. You thinking my pants aren't long enough does not upset me.
Dude, think about it. 2 million people, that's more than like most people reach in their whole lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And I'm blessed, but and it's funny because, like, listening to Jason, Jason he always said, you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, everybody's watching your every move. I'm like, I have 46, he has 5.5 million followers on Instagram. I was like, and I have 5,000. I was like, but every time I go out in Athens, there's people.
Yeah, can you imagine 5 million?
Yeah, I mean, he always told me, he's like, I can't even go get something to eat without,
That's tough, man.
Exactly, but I don't know.
Interesting, dude. Well, shit, man. I feel like I would love to hear some of these songs come out soon, man. What's the like runtime you're looking at? And obviously, you're saying you got to graduate. Like, no chance you could get one done this next year. Is that like on your goals?
I'd love to have some stuff out, summer-ish. That's kind of when I talk to Barry, my manager, we're trying to get some stuff. Like, as soon as I graduate, I'm moving to Nashville, and so it's like as soon as we get there, it's gonna be trying to get pitching stuff, trying to get some stuff out and just see where it goes. I mean, honestly, and so. I mean, I've built up a good following, and I guess, too, with the pandemic and stuff going on, so much has moved. I remember watching virtual concert. I mean, like Luke Combs in his barn, with the Bud Light sign in the back, and he's just playing, So that kind of, there's lots of people, that have had to transition to that. Now, obviously, everybody's getting back out on the road. I know you're back out on the road, but
Absolutely.
I mean, that's kind of been the social media stuff. I guess in the last 2 years has really blown. I mean, because people have had to do it that way, to get anything out, and so that's helped me. I've been a part of that, and so. But I definitely think once I move up there, I'm gonna get some stuff out because I mean,
you kind of have to, yeah. And have you thought about like your plan up there is to go up there and cut them yourself, of course? But I know a lot of people like Hardy and all those guys. They do they get their demos together and pitch them for someone else to cut them. And then you start cutting your own as the more prominent you get. Have you thought about that any?
Absolutely. I mean, because there's a couple of songs I've written that are good songs, but I'm like, I don't know if
they're you?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because and it's funny because I have a group of people I play for, like my parents, and then my roommates, and then a couple of our friends. after I spend, every once in a while we'll get together, probably every 3 months, and I just play them all the stuff I've written. And they're like, okay, that sounds like you. Like, that's a song that you need to do. They're like, that's not, like, that's a good song, but, like, you need to pitch that to somebody. And so that's kind of the plan is, like, obviously getting up there and getting, I guess the steps now is, like, getting a publishing deal and try to, and so kind of try to pitch stuff to people.
Yeah, see, I feel like that's the way in, right? I feel like everybody's kind of doing that now. I feel like Hardy's a good example of that, right?
Yeah,
Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, Hardy's written
for a while.
Yeah, well, hell, I tell people, I'm like, the biggest example that people don't know is like Chris Stapleton. I'm like, he moved to Nashville in, I think, 98.
Really?
And he wrote "Love's Gonna Make It All Right" by George Strait. He wrote "Comeback Song" that Darius Rucker cut. He did "Whiskey and You," which Tim McGraw did.
Okay.
But he's written. I mean, he wrote for years. I mean, because Jason, all those guys are like, we remember when he was just, they're like, he was bald.
Yeah.
And he just was walking around, and he was just the fat bald dude with a guitar that could sing and write a song. They're like, and then now, they put him in a cowboy hat, stuck a feather in it, and put him on a stage.
Yeah.
But he's a prime example. Hardy, he did God's Country was his first big one by Blake Shelton, and he's written all kinds of stuff. I mean, him, and I guess now a more recent examples like Ernest. Yeah, because Ernest has written all kinds of stuff for Morgan, and all kinds of different people. And then now
he's getting his own kind of clout from it,
because he was a rapper.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I listen to his podcast too, but he's got a good one, just being Ernest.
Yeah, I love that.
But
one.
yeah, I think he moved down to some island. I mean, back after he got on with college or something, and he's like, I just rapped on a guitar, and then he's like, then I moved to Nashville and started writing songs for everybody. But he kind of did some of his stuff. Early stuff was like rap stuff.
Gotcha.
And then, but he started writing he's written a lot of stuff for Morgan. And then now he's starting to
singing with him.
Yeah, and now people are like, oh shit, like he's an artist. And I think a lot of people are like that, because like Chris, I don't know if Chris ever wanted. I'm talking like I know that. Yeah. Like I know this.
No, assume away,
I don't
man.
think
assume
that away. Chris Stapleton ever wanted to necessarily be an artist. I know he's got pretty bad because he's talked about it, like anxiety, like being on stage and performing. But he could write a song,
Gotcha.
And so I think that he did like "Your Man" by Josh Turner and sold all that stuff and made a damn good living.
Yeah.
And then he put out some of his stuff and now he's playing stadiums.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's just huge. I remember the parachutes thing when that started happening. It was like, oh, this guy's gonna be fucking like humongous.
I think it was 2015 is when he put it.
2015,
right. 2014 is when he put out like his first Traveler album. But
that was it.
But
right?
and it's like everybody's like, oh, who is this guy? And then because I kind of knew who he was, just like because with Jason and just being in the like seeing the back. And that's helped me a lot too. Like. Because I was the kid that would go to the Jason Aldean concert and just stand there with my arms crossed, just watching it. Or like we go backstage and I'm like, watching. I'm like, what is this bus? He's like, that's my bus that has all the speakers. I'm like, what is it? Because I just took it all in. But that's kind of how I was going to his stuff growing up. Was like, I just want to be here to.
I feel like that has to soak in. At least you have some sort of mentor to kind of ask about that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Like a really good one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, country music entertainer of the decade. So
a couple
pretty
times.
good guy to be your cousin. But no, I love Jason to death. But yeah, I mean the artist thing, because like Hardy, I don't know if Hardy ever was going to do the whole artistry stuff. And
it seemed like he was just writing for forever.
I mean, and then you got people like Riley Green as an example of like he just played. He played in Mexican restaurants and bars and everything, and got a really good like regional following. But he wrote, I think Riley, he did a podcast with Jay Cutler, the Bears quarterback,
the football guy.
Yeah, and he was like, I think Riley said he's written or co-wrote every song that he's ever put out. Which is a lot of stuff. But
I love all his EPs and stuff, man. I used to go see him at the Georgia Theater in Milledgeville. He was great.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been one of those guys that everybody kind of knew. But he's such a good writer, and his stuff he writes cuts deep. I mean, all his stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I like all his old stuff, man. And just, it seems like when I moved to Athens, I've been here a little longer than you. When I came, that was like really what I was into before I found the rock scene. Kind of was like, I go see like Riley Green, John Langston, those kind of guys at the theater. And it seems like there's a little bit less of it, but it kind of happens more at the Warehouse now, don't you think, a little bit, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Warehouse is a great venue. Connor Smith was there.
Jake's guy.
Jake's guy.
Killing it, man.
I got up there and did 2 songs with him.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
What did we do? Whiskey Glasses and Friends in Low Places. But yeah, Connor's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's really killing it,
dude. He is, and he's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
Love to hear that.
He is a great guy. But no, he texted me. He's like, "You want to do a song?" I was like, "Yeah." But I hate Alabama. Like but Connor's a great writer. He's written just about I think he's written everything he's put out so far. I mean, so
see, that's the thing is, it seems kind of like the Nashville thing. Like some guys go up there and do the writing thing, and it like turns into them becoming the thing. And then some guys, it's like very obvious from the start, like Riley or somebody or Connor. It's like, oh, this is the guy that can write it and sing it, sort of. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think that's kind of how. I mean, and I guess it's some of these guys like Chris. Like I said earlier, I don't know if he ever wanted to be an artist or turn into it, but I mean, some of them they transition. They're like, we're going to write for a couple of years and then go on the road, and like you said, some just go out and then there's some of your big guys now. They don't. I don't even know if some of these guys even write their own stuff, But I mean, totally. I guess it's when hey, Luke Bryan's putting out an album, hell, every songwriter in, he's probably got 1,000 damn songs sitting on his phone that he's going to listen to and figure out what are the 15 best.
Yeah, it's like the bigger they get, it's like, why not let the professionals do this? You know what I mean? Like people that live to write songs, whereas Luke or somebody lives to perform and the songs or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I think. That's one thing when it comes to the music industry and the business is like there are people that are up there that they just write songs. Like they love it. Yeah, and that's what they live to do. And like they have no intention of, hey, I'm going to write this song and then when I'm going to perform it in front of people. They go up there and they write and they sell it, and you can make a damn good living doing that. And so if that's what. Yeah, I mean exactly. And if that's what you want to do, shoot. So the publishing side is such a big thing. And people don't. The entertainment stuff and being on a stage and touring, like that's obviously huge, and there's lots of people that move up there that want to do that. But I'm like, I know people that move up there that they just want to write.
Yeah, totally. But you seem like you have a little bit of both. Like I don't know if you'd be too happy just sitting in a writing room every day, would you?
No, I like to be in front of people. I like to make people laugh. That's been the biggest thing with TikTok is like I'll just get on there and talk. Yeah. I mean, I'm like just because I just like to entertain people, I like to make people laugh.
Yeah, dude, I could totally see that. When you come to, like, obviously right now you're kind of chained to the guitar and, like, just performing, but, you go see, like, a Jason or a Luke show and they're jumping around and shit. Do you have any influence on wanting to get there, or are you more of, like, a Riley Green stand by the mic?
I'm going to have to get in better shape.
Yeah, it'll do it, man.
But, them skinny jeans, woo,
they wear on you?
Yeah, but I don't know, it's kind of, I like playing, and so I could definitely see myself, a 25-song set, 15 songs have guitar, 10 not, but it just kind of depends. And I think that just depends on, but, seeing that too is like lots, people just think that those guys get up there and just sing. I mean, but they put a lot into
so much,
how they're going to, because I mean, when you go to a show like Jason's or Luke's or Luke Combs or guys like that, I mean, hell, Jason's got damn smoke, he's got damn fire shooting out of stages, and you got to know where to be, because if you're at wrong place, wrong time, your ass is going to get lit on fire.
I think he was the first. I've seen Jason a bunch, dude. I'm a huge fan, so I think it's cool that you're cousins with him. That's awesome. And he was one of the first guys that I saw like repeatedly on a tour, and I was like, "Hey, that's the same fucking joke from Macon." You know what I mean? I saw him at Augusta and Macon. Okay, so that was interesting. I was like, "Oh, these stadium guys, these jokes got a hit." You know what I mean? So some of them are like cues and stuff. That was interesting.
Exactly. I mean, and somebody that, because I did when I was in high school, I did plays and shit. Because I didn't want to go play football. Totally. Sorry, Dad. But but that was kind of, they put so much time into rehearsal, and I mean that's the thing. I'm like, they don't just get on the stage and just go play.
Even if it seems that,
right? I mean, and they're so good at it, and they've done it, for so long, and it's in their blood that they can make it seem like they are. But I'm like, they put a lot into this. I mean, they have to rehearse for weeks and weeks, and some of them probably months before they actually go out on tour. To make everything work, and the lights. I mean, I'm like, I'm one of those people. I'm sitting there, I'm looking, I'm like, there's a lot of damn lights in here, and what they have, on the background, and so there's just a lot that goes into it,
Totally.
But I mean, then you also have the guys like George Strait that you can just hand him a guitar.
Very little.
Yeah, I mean, and he can sell out Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and just get up there with a guitar and sing. I mean, obviously they put a lot into that too, but I mean, there's
in a different way.
Yeah, exactly, in a different way. Him and Garth and some of those guys like that. I mean, because I guess when they were playing in the 80s and 90s, I mean,
that was all you had.
I don't know if you could shoot a damn firework, off of a stage in 92, but
without a fire hazard.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So got the fire marshal in here, got to watch you do it.
What are some things about Nashville? Because Nashville's such an exciting town to me as well. It seems just a music mecca. I'm a music guy, so I'm fucking obsessed with it. What about it is exciting to you about moving there? Like we're talking in the next year or two. You know what I mean? So like, what thrills you about it? What's something you're looking forward to? I
mean, I'm looking forward to getting up there because the music. What I have learned, just doing this, because I've had some publishing, groups reach out. I've had different people that have reached out, that have wanted to manage me and different stuff like that. The music world is, it's not very. I say it's not very big. It seems big, but everybody knows everybody. Everybody's got everybody's phone number. And I didn't really realize that until I started kind of paying more attention to it. And I'm like, well, he knows him and he knows her. I mean, everybody kind of knows everybody.
Yeah,
and so everybody. Once you kind of get up there and you get your foot in the door, I mean, it's like, but I guess from afar, it doesn't seem like it is. But I mean, that's kind of one thing. And the other thing that I love about Nashville is there's so many, because you think of like pop music, you think of New York, you think of L.A., you think, when you think of jazz music, you think of and blues, you think of Memphis. I mean, but it's like the more and more Nashville's just become such a music hub. I mean, back I guess I'm. Probably 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was just country music.
Straight country. Yeah.
But I mean, now it's all kinds of different influences.
Just industry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so I think that's a big thing, and I can kind of, I don't know if it's because that has already been set in stone. It's like this is the music town for the South. I mean, because but a lot of people out there. I mean, so it's not just exclusively country music anymore. And I mean, and I know this because you're from Georgia, you're from Gibson. It's
Absolutely.
like we're in Georgia. I mean, I'm from Milledgeville, so Jason grew up in Macon. That's where he came out of. Allman Brothers came out of Macon. Little Richard came out of. I'm 20 minutes from Gray, which is where Otis Redding's from. I mean, so all kinds of people have come out of Georgia. So I feel like growing up in Georgia, there's been a lot of different musical influences, on me. And I think that getting to Nashville is going to be cool because it's like all that's in one place because there's so many different people, and so many different types of music. And like I said, that's growing up in Georgia. I mean, like I said, I know it's like, hell, there's just so much that has come out of Georgia. I
Absolutely,
mean,
man.
Atlanta, obviously, with the Christian music, with the rap scene. I mean, hell, Sugarland came out of Duluth. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff's come out of.
It's a little mecca, right? You know
exactly.
What I mean? I feel like it is exciting. Something about Nashville just being in that melting pot, kind of like you're saying of like, oh, everybody here is not dicking around. Like they're here to make music or they're here to be part of this. I think that's pretty appealing.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the cool thing about it because the times I've went the past year, I'm like, I'm serious about music. It's like there's just something, obviously you go to, you go down Broad Street and you got, the, I don't know, damn girls all about to go off and get married.
Bachelorette party, tourist kind of side.
Right, there's the tourist side, which is cool and makes a lot of money. But then, as an artist, you get out and you're just like, there's something in the air. I mean, because there's so many people there, and everybody. That's the thing too. It's like everybody that moves to Nashville is good, and everybody wants to make it. And it's just
same goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the coolest thing about it. And so far in the industry, and I'm sure that this will change. Everybody's been nice, polite. Everybody wants to make it. Everybody's like they're out here trying to, they're living the dream or trying to chase it. But that's kind of been the biggest thing about why I want to get up there is like. Why would you not? That's the country music.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I just said, that it's just music hub in general, so why not just go?
It almost feels like you would kind of have to, you know what I mean? Because like your opportunities as a country artist in Athens are eventually going to be tapped. You know what I mean? Because like obviously finding musicians is a lot tougher for country here. Like obviously you're not running into label people, you know what I mean? Not that that's the goal or whatever, but like you could go play Live Oak or something on Demumbrin Street or something and like label people be chilling out there because it's by Music Row. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like I feel like eventually you're going to be tapped out. It kind of scares me because I love Athens. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, and obviously I guess there's obviously I mean all kinds of bands have come out of Athens, and I know there's still people that are part of those bands that live here and people that are part of that industry. But
absolutely,
I just feel like moving to a city like Nashville. It's like, why would you want to be an actor and live in damn Denver, Colorado? Or something like that? Why not just
or Milledgeville,
Milledgeville, go to L.A. And so I kind of feel like that's and I think you just got to kind of jump and you just got to go do it.
Totally.
But I feel like
I
feel that Nashville's a place that hell everybody's going to and everybody wants to be there, and that's where all the great songwriters are. That's where the labels are and the publishing houses. So why not go?
And is it that a little of the part that's kind of scary about it too? Is that everybody there isn't, they're not kidding. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, you might be the number one country guy in Athens. You move to Nashville. It's like, oh, back to the bottom of the totem pole. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like for me, obviously it's a big feat, and you're looking at it, and it's a tall mountain to climb. But hell, you're never gonna know. If you stay in Athens, or if you're any kind of musician and you stay in, if you just stayed in Gibson or maybe there, I mean, you're never going to be able to go on these big tours and do this stuff because you're not putting yourself out there.
Exactly.
I mean, because like I said, my shit's just kind of happened by chance. I mean, I was screwing around on TikTok, and now
crazy.
Here I am, about to have 50,000 followers and playing these bars and stuff, because I just said some stupid shit on TikTok. So I feel like, hey, maybe you may get up there and same thing happen. I'll do something and play a show, and the right person's sitting in there, and it's like, well shit, let's just go. I know that. I think it was Keith Urban tells a story about how
I love Keith Urban.
Kix Brooks. So Keith was like, just gigging in Nashville, and Kix Brooks from Brooks and Dunn came after like a wedding in a suit and sat on the bar floor and watched him. Play, a set, and then he walks up to him and he's like, I want you to go on tour. And it's like, here's Keith Urban on tour with Brooks and Dunn because he was just playing and but he worked his ass off, and now here you are on tour with, and so I feel like
that'll just never happen in Athens or Milledgeville. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I don't think so. Unless somebody, there's just some country music junkie, country music guy in the industry that's a Georgia fan that just comes in and they're just like, let's go to Clark's after a ball game. Oh shit, you can sing. Come on.
That's what's weird about it, man. Because we played, me and my band played in Nashville 2 weekends ago. And we played this place called Live Oak. It's on Demumbrant Street. You've heard of it?
Oh yeah,
it's like a really big ride around place. And the next night was like Muscadine Bloodline. I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? You know what I mean? And we played, and the managers were like, you guys are awesome, man. Just keep doing this shit, bro. I know it sounds crazy, but none of the label guys hang out on Broadway. They hang out on Demumbrant because it's by Music Row.
Right.
I was like, what the fuck?
And that's what, because going to, because I've been. Okay, so thing number one, I don't want to give away my age and the illegal shit that I used to do. But when you go down on Broadway, they're not going to take a fake ID. They're not. So you ain't going to get into Aldean's or Luke's or Four Georgia Lines. I'm not going to name drop what bars to let me in with a fake ID, but they weren't on Broad Street, or on Broadway. But same thing. The guys that are in industry, they're not like, okay, let's go hang out at Aldean.
Yeah, so that seems preposterous.
And so they're going to these places that,
Printers Alley.
Right, they're hidden gems, but I mean, hell, and I tell people when they go to Nashville, they're like, what should we do? And I'm like, go to Broadway and go do that. And there's if you're going for music, go off, of Broadway, but hell, just go off Broadway just to go see there's more.
Totally.
It's almost like if you came to Athens and, you only went to, love you, J. Rod, but only went to 1785.
Yeah,
so there's other stuff to see. I know it's probably a shitty example, but there's all kinds of things.
I get exactly. No, I get exactly what you mean.
And so it's kind of like, it's like if you went to Milledgeville and you only hung out in Capitol.
Totally. Yeah.
After about 10 minutes in Capitol, I'm like, okay, it's time to go. But there's other stuff to see, and that's kind of how Nashville is. It's like there's so much stuff to see, and there's so many. You just have to look a little bit.
Yeah, I think Jake Kinney called it. What did he say? He either said 10-year town or a 10+ year town, something like that. I was like, it feels so right because I feel like you could just go up there and just spend a whole year grinding and still not be close, but closer. Do you know what I mean? You would meet so many dope people, and I'm sure you'd have buddies that work at labels. I'm sure you just meet a girl at the bar and she works at a label. You know what I mean? So it's just an interesting town, man.
Right, or her daddy's her daddy's a songwriter. Okay, well, you're going to be my new love interest for 2 months. I'm just kidding.
Until we see if this deal gets signed.
Just kidding, dear. Yeah, the deal falls through. I don't want to talk to you anymore. So.
Have you have a lot of interest in the writers' rounds kind of stuff? Because I feel like that's a thing.
I mean, that's kind of the one thing that I'm going up there in I think April.
Okay.
At some point in time, I'd have to look and see. Talk to Barry, but that's kind of where he's like, you're gonna go write some stuff with some people, but we're gonna get you into some writers rounds and because I just think, and that's the thing is like you look though. I tell people this all the time, like because I just pay attention to shit like that. I'm like, if you look on like Mackenzie Carpenter, who's
I don't think I'm familiar with
stuff with. She knows Jake, but she actually opened for Connor at Warehouse. She's her and her brother are from the Athens area, but she's written some really good stuff. But like she wrote some stuff with Lily Rose.
Okay, yeah.
But like when she goes to writers round, I'm like, if you look at the video that she posts on TikTok, that writers round on a Tuesday night is sold out because like people, they want to go hear, like they like, let's go hear these people, what they've written and like who these people, and some of those people may be industry people, but I'm like, I would bet a lot of those people are just people that, they either live in Nashville or they're visiting and they just want to go see like, what are these kids writing?
Yeah, dude. And some of those lineups will be crazy, like the Whiskey Row ones and stuff. It'll be like fucking like Ray Fulcher and like 4 other guys. You know what I mean? It's like, damn.
That Why Not Wednesday? Like all those guys. I mean, it's like some of the people, that they have on there. But I mean, it's just, I feel like that's a big thing. And I think, money wise, the industry's changed. And so if you can write your own songs and you have a team that can produce them and you put them out and then you can go on tour and play them, like that's where I feel like that's where people. I don't know how it used to be, because I wasn't in it, but I feel like that's kind of the move now. It's like, can you write your stuff? Can you, what can you do with it once you write it, and then how are you going to perform it when you go on tour?
Yeah, I feel like it adds another dimension to you per se, as opposed to where if like they saw you and they're like, this guy can't write songs, but we can mold him into that. You know what I'm saying? But whereas if you wrote the songs, you kind of got all the power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's kind of how I feel. Is like, industry's looking and they're like, okay, you can write. You have the look, and then you can go perform. I was like, well, shit, this is a
trifecta,
right? Exactly.
It's everything.
I mean, it's like a no-brainer. Whereas if it's something like, oh, well, you can only sing, you can't really write. And hell, I might get up there and they'd be like, well, all these songs are shit. You're that exact person that I just. But
I think they told Luke Combs that too, man. Didn't they? Yeah, they tell everybody that.
I think that I don't know how many people told Luke, and then now he's like, all right, well, I'm going on my arena tour, so
see ya.
Y'all want tickets? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I love it, man. You seem very passionate about it. I feel like you would exceed up there just because, like we kind of say, I love Athens and all. Absolutely love the scene here, but country-wise, slightly underrepresented, in my opinion. I really can only think about a few other guys. I think James Mason's one of the other guys I think about. Granville's kind of threading the needle on that, in my opinion. I feel like they're a little more Southern rock. I don't know what they'd say. And hopefully they hear it and they'll let me know. They'll be like, "Hey, James, fucking wrong." You know what I mean?
But we are country music. Which, if they say that, then hell yeah, you are.
I feel like you guys would fit on a bill together well, though. You know what I mean? That'd be sick.
I've been to 2 or 3 of their shows, and I'm like, they are unbelievable.
They're awesome. Yeah, they're sick.
I'm like, I didn't even want to take my eyes off them. I mean, they are like the way they do it, and they have these. They have their own distinct personalities. On
I mean, they got the look too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I just think they're great.
And they're young, dude. I don't know how exactly old they are, but I know they're not like
they're younger.
I don't think they're seniors or anything.
I think they're all younger than me.
Word,
21. Man. So I mean, they're going places. I mean, they're going to be good. I mean,
man.
So. But
they got a good manager. Tell me about your manager a little bit, man. You said you got one, right?
Yeah, so it's my Uncle Barry,
Word.
Which is I love it. I mean, because the thing about it is I've had people that have reached out, and not to sound like a dick, but I really think there have been people that have reached out that wanted to do stuff just because they're like, oh, so Jason Aldean follows you on Instagram, like that's or people have found out like, okay, that's your y'all are related, let me help you. And I'm like, what are you just gonna help me until you can try to get as close to it, and so gotcha. But that's the cool thing about Uncle Barry, and he knows so many people because he did this with Jason. He lives right outside of Nashville. I mean, so he knows so many people, and he knows the industry, and
that
so
helps a ton.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. And he's actually managed some guys. Jordan Rager was one that he did.
Oh, see, I feel like he's from Athens, isn't he? Is he not?
He's from Loganville, so not far at all.
Okay,
but I know Brantley Gilbert's from Athens.
Yeah,
and then Colt Ford, obviously. Well, I think they're from like Jefferson area, but I mean close to Athens. But no, so Uncle Barry's done guys, and like I said, he just knows that like entertainment industry, pretty well, and so. I'm like, well, it's a no-brainer. I'm like, and so
that seems obvious, yeah.
Right, so that's kind of been the thing, and he was supportive of it, and he's like, we're going to do this and see where it goes, and so, because that's kind of, it got to the point, probably in September, October, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm playing these shows, and, like, I'm doing this stuff, and, like, I kind of want to see where this goes, He's like, hell, let's do it, and so we'll see, but, I mean.
That's a valuable asset to have, man.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, there's been people that, I'm not going to name drop, but that I really think like they've reached out because they're like, oh shit, like, somehow Jason Aldean.
Like associative.
Yeah, and I'm like, we're not going to do that.
That's not the same.
Yeah, and so, but I mean, being with obviously family, I mean, it's hell's family.
Totally. And you say you've got 20 songs written now, give or take. I imagine you haven't done any full original sets. Have you thought about it though? Like maybe as an opener at the 40 watt or something like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to. I mean, I would love to do, and I know Jake Kenny and I've talked about it, and we're trying to find some folks. Like we would love to do like a country music writers round. Like I mean, just something, and it's like maybe not even something that's like set in stone. We're going to do this once a month, but like let's do it once or twice and just see. Because I went to him with an idea couple months ago, and I'm like, let's just see about if we can get a venue. I don't know, money wise what it would cost, or he knows all these people. Get us into like, maybe 40 watt warehouse.
I feel like they do it,
something
man.
like that, and just be like, hey, and my thing is this: there's so many people. I mean, Athens obviously is just a music town, but I mean, there's so many people that love country music, and I mean, they love other stuff, but I mean, they love country music. I think if we did something like that, people would come out to it. People would be like, we want to come see, the 6 guys that are grinding and working their ass off and doing country music in Athens are all on the same stage, doing writers round, hell, let's just go see them. I mean, I feel like people would love that.
Fantastic idea, dude. You know what I mean? It seems so obvious. Like when I hear it, it's like, oh, that would kill. People love country music here. Everybody knows what Nashville is about. People know that that's a thing. They would want to come see that here for the next round of upcoming Athens country artists.
Right, and just like see where it goes. I mean, I just think that I think it would kill. I mean, I really think people would like come out to it in droves.
Especially I think you're so right, and sorry to cut you off, but especially like since it'd be on like a Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, you know what I mean? Like somewhere in the weekday, like usually 40 watts not even booked on Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Like, I'm not trying to do this on like a Friday, Saturday night, where they're having actual like big bands or people come in, but like let's just go and see,
That might be something to bring up to J-Rod, man. I feel like he'd be down for something like that.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's just see, what hell. I mean, shit. I'm sure we could call some AGRs or SIG Eps, and they're like, y'all come do it on the front porch, which I'm fine with that. I mean, but
sounds fun.
Let's just see where it goes. I mean, because I really think that obviously. Athens is on the map just nationwide. Like Absolutely. This is like a music mecca, but I feel like if we just said, hey, these are the couple country guys down here, let's just see. I mean, because UGA, the thing I love about it is like a melting pot. I mean, you got people from South Georgia, North Georgia, Atlanta, out of state, hell, out of
New
country.
Jersey,
exactly. I mean, I met some girl the other night. She said, I'm from New York City. I'm like, you're from where?
What are you doing here?
Exactly. But there's so many people. So I feel like it would be something that people would love. So and like I said, and then hey, it's one of those things that. We play it at 40 watt or 85 or wherever the hell wants to facilitate it, and then they're like, "Hey, these guys are good. Like, let's see if we can like start putting some country
Full
music
nights.
stuff in the rotation." Warehouse. Because Warehouse obviously has a good amount of country artists that have come through.
They've stepped up on that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And so, but I mean, something like that would be. I think it would be great. I mean,
it would kill, dude.
I think
do you think you guys could get 6 of you together? You know what I mean? I feel like surely,
I feel like I just threw my leg up over this chair.
You're getting comfy in here, man.
About to say I'm getting comfortable. I like talking about this stuff. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Jake Kenny knows, all kinds of things. There's a guy, I think his name's Evan. He writes, he's an AGR, a guy named Christian Humphreys. I think he's an AGR. He does country music stuff. And so there's another guy that's from Athens. I don't know if he's in college, but he popped up on my TikTok. I have to go look at. I followed him, but he does stuff like that. So I mean, I feel like
you probably came up with 2 girl singers too that song.
About to say, I'm sure
Meg Maroney.
Like there's a
Ashley
girl.
Walls
There's a girl that goes to school here. I have to look her up on. I follow her on TikTok, but she because my thing is I always do a hashtag like UGA on all my TikToks,
of course.
and just like and I think like that's kind of. A
common ground.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's people, and my other thing is this too, hell, you don't know, if we do the first night, and you got 6 of us up there, hell, there may be, the next month when we do it, there may be 6 brand new people.
Yeah,
that,
that'd be cool.
And that's my thing is I feel like there's probably some people that they don't, they're like, well, I write and sing country music, but I don't know, like it's Athens, I don't know where to do it,
totally.
and then maybe doing something like that, like, it clicks and they're like, oh shoot, like let's go, let's DM, Jake Kenny or whoever's running this writers around and see if I can get up on the stage.
Like a sign-up sheet.
Right, exactly. And so, then that may be a way that we find even more country musicians in Athens, and it's something that I'm sure, I feel like, if we all got together and did it, we'd all become friends and buddies and we'd write songs. And it's like, what the hell is going to come out of Athens now, country music? Even if, some of them may go to Nashville, some of them may, go do
still
other careers. But still, it's like, let's just see, where that goes.
Dude, I think that's a fantastic, it excites me just to think about it, and I feel like maybe that's why there's not as many country artists, because like they don't really see a route they can take. Like rock bands here, obviously you see the route you can take, which is Caledonia, 40 watt, play your ass off, like play rock band, play cover shows.
Yeah.
Maybe the route's a little less clear for you guys because there's no writers' rounds. There's no like songwriting rooms here. I feel like that's another cool idea off the same thing. Like getting 6 country guys and girls or whoever together in a room in Athens like this, and like everybody just start writing on something like they do in Nashville.
I mean, that's what I mean. And I think, and when you've got a school like this, I mean, obviously, where's Georgia? I mean, hell, so
there's some country singers here.
There's some country folks that have come out of Georgia, and I know there's some that are sitting here now, and people are always like, you're like the only country music singer in Athens, and I'm like, maybe that you've seen on your phone. I'm like, but I know there's more because I've seen them on my phone. I was like, we just have to go find them,
Yeah, there's no centralized sort of spot that you guys can play.
I mean, it's funny because that's how Kenny found me on TikTok, and
really?
then he DM'd me, and so now we've become friends. But he like commented on 1 or 2 TikToks, and I'm like, who's this? And then he like DMs me, and he's like, do you live in Athens? I was like, well, I don't really know you, but
what a Kenny thing to do. I love that
guy. But he is awesome. But I mean, I mean something like that he found me. I mean, he had to kind of search and find me, and so I feel like it's something where we have to do that. But I mean, I know there's kids sitting in freshman dorms that brought their guitar and sing and play country music. It's just like we just gotta find them.
And I feel like, I mean, honestly, this is something that you and Jake and a few other guys can build. Because like the rock scene in Athens, people don't really know it, but up until like 80, there was no rock scene. There was like it's one of those things that you could build. Like if you guys got into moonshine and started playing every Thursday, like you're saying, the round, like that would just naturally snowball. And I don't know if you've ever been to like Boar's Head open mic night. Have you ever been to that?
Mm-hmm. In the summer, I lived up. I'm sorry to cut you off, but in the summer, I lived up here during the summer. Yeah, and so obviously in the summer there weren't as many people.
Totally.
What is it? Wednesday nights?
Yes, Wednesdays. Yeah,
Wednesdays. I mean, so I'd go down there and get a bucket of beer, and I'm like, and so but I mean stuff like that. I mean, I just feel like
it builds like a little culture,
it does.
And kind of the same bands have been playing that Boar's Head open mic night thing, and they kind of shuffle in and out, but like. It would be the same kind of thing to where that's its own little scene now. Like I think about those Boar's Head Wednesdays bands as those kind, except for country. Yeah. You guys doing the ride around and finding your spot, hopefully Generals, hopefully Moonshine, hopefully 17 or something, and just building it. And you see all the posters. You guys could do posters with 6 of y'all on there. You know what I mean?
And what was it? Was it Florida Man that started doing the open mic nights?
They did, yes. I think that's all they've done so far. They're doing Clark's on Thursday.
Okay, yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Shoot, yeah. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that. I mean, I just feel like it definitely could snowball. I mean, because obviously you go to Nashville and that's that's the thing. And I think it is here. With Boar's Head and and so many bands coming out of here. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, and that's kind of what when Clark's reached out, they're like, hey, we'd love to like talk to you and see, because we'd love to get like some kind of country music something in the rotation. And I was like, well, let's do it. Here we are. So, but I feel like there's plenty of people up here that do it. It's just.
Not centralized.
Yeah, it's not centralized, and and I understand too because I was in this position a year ago.
Yeah.
As somebody that writes and does this stuff, it is hard. Like that leap to like put yourself out there and like, okay, I've performed in front of my friends and my parents,
homies. Yeah,
exactly. Let's do it in front of a couple more people. Now I do it every damn Monday, Wednesday, Friday when I put out stuff, in front of 46,000 people. But I mean, it's one of those things that I feel like sometimes too, like just that jump, and then, but I mean, I feel like
it's a leap,
right? Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, if you have like-minded people and you have 6 people sitting on stage with a guitar doing it, it may be easier for,
it's less of a leap.
The girl from Moultrie that's got her guitar that wants to, write and sing country music, just say, like, shit, let's just go do it.
Yeah, dude, well, fuck, man. We need to put this thing together. I feel like we could do this, dude. Me, you, and Jake in a room. We could probably make this happen.
But so I think we could, because Jake Kenny knows everybody.
Yeah, Jake's got us over there.
He could just be like, let me call these 3 people, and he'd be like, all right, so we've booked Georgia Theater 2 nights back to like, shit, son. We
got to sell 800 tickets. What? No, but it'd be sick, though. You know what I mean?
Dude, I think it would. I mean, I know that there'd be shits of people that would come to it. Just because it's like,
you could be more right,
dude,
man.
why not? I mean, I'm like, I would just go drop like 5 flyers off it on the steps of AGR and SIGAP and ATL. I'm like, all right, come on, let's go.
Come on, gang.
But I really think it'd be big.
Well, I love that, man, and hopefully we can make it happen. I feel like there's gonna be some people listening to this. We have a pretty good Athens music following that'll hopefully be into that, and I'll let you know the kind of feedback I get on it. But we're up to 86 minutes, so we've been at it for a minute, dude.
I told you I could talk.
I love it, man. You're good at it. You're natural. You got that deep, honestly, I hate to say radio voice, but like you got a nice voice.
Good old radio voice.
Good talking voice. Anyways, let's kind of get into the closing notes segment of this. Like, where do you want to be in this next year? I know you mentioned graduation is kind of holding you back, but like, what would you like to accomplish this year, and what would you like the people to know that you're working on? It's a big question.
But I say, put me on the spot. So graduate in May, got to take a summer class, be done with the degree, go to Nashville, move up there, and then I want to get some stuff out kind of pretty soon. I mean, just because I've got good momentum behind me. I feel like, all the shows I've played, and because I've played in Nashville, I've played in good many places in Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. And so it's
tri-state region,
so kind of building the regional stuff, and so just playing more and more stuff. Obviously, booking more and more shows, which we're kind of in the process of. But when you have class every damn day, it's hard it's hard to do. But as soon as we get out of that, go up to Nashville, try to would love to pitch some of my songs. Try to see, let's see if we can do some publishing stuff. But then release some stuff. I mean, I'm ready to get some stuff out there. I feel like some of the stuff I've written will do relatively well. I mean, I think that there's already people that all the stuff that I've put out, kind of on my TikTok, the original stuff, people have liked.
That's awesome.
And
dude.
so,
that,
besides the
it's
one lady that goes to church with my parents, but everybody else likes it, And so I feel like let's do that. And then let's just see where that goes. But just write. And that's the thing. Write as much as I can. Play as many shows as I can. And it's playing the bars and sometimes having to go play shows you don't necessarily want to play. But hell, the show's a show.
Totally.
But doing that. But honestly, just writing as much as I can. Because that's the thing, I love to write. I love to write, and I know there's lots of people that don't, and some people that don't like what they write. But I like to write. It's almost like a puzzle. I get an idea, and it's like let's just piece it together. So I love to write, and I would love nothing more than to go to Nashville and maybe start out like a Hardy or a Chris Stapleton, write a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it feels like you're going to fit in well there if you like it that much.
I don't know if like I said, I feel like I've decently large personality. I love to talk. I love to be in front of people.
That's
so
good.
Obviously trying to play as much, live and be in front of people. But really just write. Just write and just keep growing the following.
Yeah.
And
so what if you had when would be like? Oh, so God, I'm stuttering. When would you like to have music out by? Like when would it be like anything more is like? Oh my God! Like how do I not have music out? Like a year? Is a year in the ballpark?
I'd probably say like 9 months.
Oh, word.
I would love to get some stuff, I'd love to get to Nashville, and there's some folks that Barry knows that are like, they're producers, and I've talked to them, and they'll come and they'll do some stuff. Obviously they're not with a label or
session
or
musician kind of stuff.
Exactly, but like, let's just put some stuff out, and put it out, independent, and just kind of see, where it goes. And with the following, and hell, Jake Kenny's a TikTok genius. He's like, cut it and do this, and then sit in your car and sing it like this, and put it out, and it's different, and it's gonna fit your algorithm. And I was like, you know my algorithm better than I do, but stuff like that. But but still, just entertain. I just like to entertain people. Honestly, so it's just like doing as much and being in front of people. I love being in front of people. So that kind of stuff. But putting yourself out there, I think, is such a big part.
Totally.
Because being on tour and doing all the stuff that you've done, you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, it's like the first step, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you'll never know if you think about if you were still sitting around going, man, I wonder if I should post some TikToks. You know what I mean?
That's my dad was always like, you need to do music, and I'm like, no, I don't. And he's like, yeah, you do. And then I like didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Well, now your TikTok has 2.5 million views and people are requesting songs. And I'm like, well, shit, let's just do one or two. See where it goes. And here we are, later.
Well, I'd say, dude, definitely hold on to that because, man, I tell you, just about everybody, I have a lot of people on here, and everybody, like to the smallest rock band, and there's a little bit of something in their mind going, man, I wish I was killing it on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, whether or not they like to admit it, like, you see bands like AFTM and like huge bands, like they're making TikToks this year and posting videos. It's like, there's something there to like building a following, and you're a perfect example of that.
That's like TikTok is the new big thing, which is great. I mean,
it's the MTV of our generation, dude.
Literally. I mean, and it's like people are like, we get to see, like one girl told me, she's like, we get to like see into your life, and I'm like, well, I don't know how comfortable that makes me.
How far can we see
at 1 o'clock in the bar? But thank you, dear. But it's just one of those things that it just is. But I mean, I love the whole. But like I said, I can go from like singing a cover to singing an original song to reading The Night Before Christmas to doing commentary on the damn voiceover, and it's just I like it. I mean, but it's just, man. I just like to. I don't know. I've always known since I was a kid. I was not gonna do I was not gonna be like a banker. I was not gonna take the normal. No, I was not. I couldn't do it. So here we are. Out here trying to do this. I mean,
I love it, man. I feel that's a great answer, dude, and a great wrapping point. You got a big personality. I like it, man. You got I feel like you got all you need, man. You got a good voice. You like to write songs. You got the personality. Just stick with it, brother.
I hope so.
I want to see you on the road the next couple years, man, with that single on the charts and stuff.
I would love to. That's the dream.
That's the dream.
That's the closing note.
We'll just keep coming at it, man. I love it.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. If you made it 92 minutes in, we're pretty proud of that. God. That's a long time. What the hell are you doing still watching this? But
it's probably just my mom and dad.
Yo,
love y'all.
Up? Love them. Come on. But thank y'all for tuning in. Check out the show on YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube if you don't mind. Throw the podcast a review if you're on Apple Podcasts, all that good shit. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, go ahead. Tell them your Instagram handle and your TikTok.
Everything is Bradley Logan Crosby. Instagram and TikTok, and if you have Facebook, give me a like on Facebook. For my grandma.
Y'all go check him out, man. Give him a follow. Get the podcast follow. Thank you for coming, man. I appreciate you, dude. Give him a wave for the thumbnail, all right? Give him a smile.
Perfect.
See y'all.